He's asking about the judge. Okay. You got your, I'm going to get a walkie-talkie.
How far away are we here, team?
Are you, all three of you, happy?
I'm happy. Are you wanting to do a little rehearsal here to make sure things work?
Yep.
It's pretty straightforward tourism piecing into it, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So, and to be honest,
Are you happy with it?
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Some of them will be on the inside.
I reckon you'll probably find that. Take another few steps this way, Rusty. I would wobble on that side of the road because it'll be your first jump. Come in a little bit, Rusty. Yeah.
Come down, brother.
Right, yeah, cool.
Who do you want on which side? You want to go? Dino's a bit taller. Should I go like that?
In the hole. Yeah. Mind you, when we did the other one, remember?
Where are you?
Alright, I'm going to start rolling the tourism thing.
Cool.
Sorry guys, rally people only.
That's not tugging too much around.
No, it's good. Pick it apart later.
Yeah.
Hey lads, you alright? Good morning.
Morning.
Did you go with your feel good to go? T-shirt on and no long sleeve?
Hey, so Melbourne,
I got like triple layer.
Melbourne, mate, this is a balmy Sunday.
Freedom tough there.
We're about 90 minutes north of Brisbane around Gimpy and some signature roads and countryside for our sport in the Mary Valley region. Fishing, off-road adventures, great local food and produce. There's all sorts of other reasons to stop here too. It's within easy reach, about 60 k's from Noosa and the iconic Sunshine Coast, as well as the world-famous Fraser coastline. We're about to hit the road for some things that you won't find on the Pace Notes this weekend.
Well, Rusty, welcome to Dagon Station. Now, I don't know about you, but I just love these old historic train stations, and this one is home to the famous River Rattler.
Which will be running all rally weekend, but for this tour, we are on the Silver Bullet. Going to soak up some of the great heritage of the Gympie region, the Mary Valley landscape as well, with first-class service. I mean, that's the way we roll, right?
Absolutely, I can't wait.
We're always going flat out on the rally, so it's nice to slow down and take a bit of this in. And the history of the whole place dates back to the gold rush in the mid-1800s, and the railway stations and the line was kind of established in the early 1900s.
Yeah, this region really loves embracing its history and preserving it for the younger generations coming through. And while this train isn't quite as old as some of the gold mines around here, it is still 60 years old, this one that we're travelling in today.
And this is where the magic happens. Tony and Russell at the helm, properly passionate about rail travel.
Well, Rusty, here we are at Imbil, where we are surrounded by the legendary Imbil Forest, home to rallying for decades. But it's home to a lot more, including horse riding, trail biking, four-wheel driving, some beautiful bushwalking, or just communing with nature.
Why can't I hear rally cars? I've been coming here for decades. We are literally kind of in the centre of all of the stages. But as Jackie said, Imbil is home to even more great Sunday markets, and I've got the world's biggest sweet tooth, one of the best vanilla slices you are ever likely to try from the cafes.
Well, this is Town and Country Bakery, which was recently voted as having Australia's best vanilla slice. And I think it's easier to see why.
It's busy here right now, but let me tell you, on rally weekend, 2,500 of these things will be sold. And last financial year, the bakery made 27,000 of them. Perfect for our road trip around the rally.
Well, keeping on our bakery theme, we've gone just a few steps up the road to the historic Oven Bakery, and it's easy to see why it got its name.
This is the oven. It's called a Scotch oven, 100 years old, and it is still in perfect working order. And look at what they have made for rally weekend, these beautiful cupcakes. I don't think Harry Bates has ever looked so good.
Well, Rusty, we're finishing up here at Dingo Creek Wines, which is set across 26 beautiful acres.
Couldn't think of a better location to wrap this up. Amazing reviews online, award-winning. Do we really have to go to work? Cheers.
We are live at the end of stage one. Good morning, everybody. This is a milestone weekend for the E-Road Australian Rally Championship, 350th round in the series history. Greg Rust and Dean Herridge with you. We are at muster one, just over our cameraman's shoulder. A whole stream of cars are coming in. Lots of fans at the end of this first stage of the weekend. 6.83 Ks. 4 stages for Heat 1 today, repeated twice, and this one is relatively new in the history of the sport too.
Yeah, we ran this stage last year, and a little bit out of character actually, so it's a really tricky stage to start the actual event off with, and it caught Harry Bates out last year, so I expect he'll be a little bit ginger to this one, so let's see how confident he's coming through. Now,
it has a bit of a narrow start to the stage, and then it becomes something that you rally people often call like shirey type roads, don't they? So it's an interesting first stage.
The mood for this one, though, is it's a little bit out of character with the rest of the day. Even though it's hard packed, it doesn't look like it's going to be slick, but everyone talks or refers to it as slippery or a little bit less than they expect. Because you've got to remember, hard packed roads sometimes in the shade with rally tyres actually is not a great feeling from the car's point of view. So first one out, shake the cobwebs out. It's going to be very interesting to see how it shakes out.
We'll be bringing you some times too from the first stage of the day. Jackie Shivey is with us. She'll be chatting with the drivers as well. If you weren't with us last night for what we call Wheels on Mary, the Gympie Shire, the Mary River region have welcomed us with open arms. Huge turnout of fans there for our big party, our pre-event party, if you like, in the main street there in Gimpy last night. And as a part of that, at each round of the championship now, we do the Bosch Motorsport Ballot. The top 3 seated drivers get to pick in a lottery-style system their position on the road. Hayden Patton had the honour of shuffling the cards, but unfortunately he's drawn car 1.
He's gone 1. The 3 draws he's done, he's been car 1. The thing about it, part of it is road position, of course, and it might cost you depending on the event. Part of it's psychology. That part he's got down pat. I mean,
absolutely.
He's a 2-time, European champion, multiple New Zealand champion, won a WRC run. So that bit won't bother him. He'll be more concerned about how much difference is my road position versus the guys behind me.
Now, if there's an argument, I think I said this in the Facebook Live this morning as well, if there's an argument for match fitness, Hayden Patton absolutely has it coming into this. He fundamentally hasn't stopped driving. Been in Belgium, Donegal Rally as well. Since WA, where he was dynamite, he's been behind the wheel.
Oh, look, he's a class act. And at the end of the only slight difference there is a couple of those events have been tarmac for him, so he's got to refer, but that's where the experience comes in. And as everyone says in motorsport, there's no substitute for seat time, so he's definitely had that.
He comes in on top after that performance in WA, leading the series by 7 points. He's got 160 at the top of our E-Road Australian Rally Championship ladder. Lewis Bates on 153. Harry Bates, 142, will We'll talk about Harry in a moment. His second car on the road, along with Coral Taylor. 2 podiums so far this season for a guy who's a multiple champion in this sport. But we're looking for that debut win in 2025, aren't we?
And that he will know that. And this has been a tough round for the Toyotas. You know, last year they had 3 cars that went out in this first opening loop, so there'll be a bit of nervous energy around that. And I think the dark horse is someone who really would want to find pace is Lewis. You know, he's second in the championship, positioned really well after a really dynamite opening round. He was a little off the pace in Perth, and he'll be wanting to make amends for that.
Well done to the car club and everybody on the organisation of this event too. I cannot believe the cars that are filing in here at the moment, because literally just beyond us here is a spectator point for them, isn't there?
Yeah, nice little spectator. And the thing, even about at Perth, when you've got really good cars with really good drivers, I had people come after Forest Rally saying it's the best spectating I've done in Perth since Rally Australia, because you've got world-class drivers in these Rally 2 cars. They're spectacular and great to watch. So the crowds are coming out and actually finding organisers needing more officials to try and help with parking solutions and things, which is great for our sport that we get people out in the forest.
As a part of our live stream coverage here on the YouTube channel, on Instagram and Facebook, we'll be bringing you a full field mid-stage update for the Australian Rally Championship component of this event on Stage 7 later this afternoon. So stay across the socials. You can keep an eye on the broadcast times there. We're at the end of Stage 1, just waiting for Hayden Padden and John Kennard to
that was your special request, was it? You wanted to do more spectating yourself.
Well, I mean,
it was fantastic, wasn't it? To be
it's in the contract, you know. Can't not.
No, but to be in the middle and see these cars over multiple corners, to try and bring that to the people at home is awesome. If you can't get out to see that, and for us, we were standing on how magnificent it is to see the different lines and the way people attack in the middle of a stage is really cool. What
do you do for this event? I mean, knowing we're approaching the halfway mark of the 2025 series, I think Scott Petter said to us this morning, it's attack for him. I mean, is there an argument for a bit of conservatism? What's the...
Maybe on Scotty's side, I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit. But he's got pace. What he'll try to do is be precise with things. You know, it's about limiting the mistake. The top 4 to 5 guys are very quick at the end of the day, so they are battling it out. It's about now trying to maximise and get the points at the end of the day.
Okay, we are just hearing from some of our team here. There is a slight delay in things, so we'll grab a little break here. We'll be back live in about 5 minutes' time. And we are back live at the end of Stage 1, Accent Bench Tops Rally Queensland. For those of you that have been tuning in for our live coverage here, apologies for the slight delay. The organisers just wanted to make sure that all of the communications on stage were working properly. Safety, Dino, is paramount in our game. We need to observe that. But from a competitor standpoint, as we wait for Hayden Padden and John Kennard to arrive here at the end of Muster 1, that requires a reset. That's not, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not unusual that you could have a delay at the start of a stage, but the thing is, when you're getting prepped and you'll roll into control, generally the teams will stop a couple of kilometres out from the stage and then get set up, helmets on, warm up tyres, warm up brakes, and they land there right on time to check in. Now they hold, it's a big reset. You've got now cold tyres, cold brakes, etc. So how you tackle that, first couple of kilometres a bit more interesting, and you've got to reset. No different to a Formula One or a track racer.
350th round in the history of the E-Road Australian Rally Championship. Really special weekend for the sport. This stage, as Dean said a short time ago, was a part of the Accent Bench Tops Rally Queensland last year. But when you look back through the history of this event, and there's some great roads, great history in these parts for rallying, you've got to go back 20 years to find this stage used. So it is still a thing they're getting reacquainted with, if you like.
Of course, because you get used to in and around Imbil. We ran for a long time. That was where the service was. So things like Kandangas have been a staple of this championship in this particular round for a while. This one was new, injected last year, and a little bit different and out of character to the rest of them. So
car looks tidy here. Hayden Padden's arrived. Jackie Shivey moving in to chat with him. Our series leader, car one on the road. Take it away.
Good morning, Hayden. First car out there. Firstly, what are the conditions like out on the stage, and how have you gone adjusting from your tarmac rallies to the dirt here?
It does take a bit of adjustment after the tarmac, but it's very slippery in there. There's fine gravel on top, and we're just sliding all over the road. So we've got no grip at all, but we can't do anything about that. We just have to deal with it the best we can this morning, and for sure Harry and Scott will be faster this morning, but we've just got to keep the pressure on.
How technical is this stage?
It's a good little warm-up. It's obviously short, but it's a good warm-up for the rest of the rally.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So, obviously, he drew car one on the road last night as a part of our Bosch Motorsport ballots. And just talking about, I think, something that you observed on our drive into this stage, the style of road and what it's like and the way the car behaves across the top of that surface.
Exactly what he's talking about. He'll think that's a bit of car one. He wasn't here last year, so he'll think, that's a car one thing. It's not fully car one. We said, what will they talk about? They'll talk about how slippery it is. That's exactly what he said. I'm sliding all over the place. That will get a little better as the next stages go on. So the big test will be, is there an advantage on being car 2 or 3 or a little bit further back on this particular stage? But, Hayden already calling it, scrambling on top, really struggling to bite down and get some grip.
That sound you might be able to hear in the distance is the Toyota Gazoo Racing entry on approach. Harry Bates, Coral Taylor, the Yaris 12 months ago, they're keen to erase as a team the memory of that event, if you will. Let's see what sort of...
Trying to get some time. So Hayden's done a 4:07.1, I think it is. So that's going to be the time to beat. He survived through this time. Obviously, this was his voodoo stage from last year, so he'll be happy to get this one underway.
Is there a little bit of damage to the front there? We'll keep an eye on that.
Pretty normal on these for a bit of a nosedive.
Let's go to Jackie.
Harry, how are you feeling? You're a bit nervous this morning, but you've made it through stage 1.
Yeah, made it through stage 1, better than last year. Tricky little stage, to be honest. It was a difficult run, but all good. We're here, so we'll just keep the rhythm up.
Was it a little bit slippery?
Yeah, super slippery. Can't believe it, to be honest. Never looks like that on recce, but once you get into it in the rally and start trying to use the grip, you realise that there's a limit to it. So, all good though.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So probably what we expected a little bit. Harry will be keen to, and he's got through there. He's 0.6 of a second behind Hayden. Now, Hayden will be buoyed by that time, but I think that you'll see that Harry was probably a little bit conservative in that one. That's why they're probably close.
Okay. Coral Taylor talking to us last night at Wheels on Merry, our pre-event party in the heart of Gimpy there, that overall this event, she's arguing that stating very positively the roads are the best they've seen in quite some time for this event, and a nice mixture.
Yeah, and like I said, really challenging, but they had a little bit of weather early, so they had a bit of rain a week ago, which sort of forms the road, but not at the time that you're driving on them, so it sort of sets them up. It's a bit like a cricket pitch. There's a certain way to have a nice nice pitch versus something else different. So from a rally point of view, well formed, not too many holes. And because if you did that driving or recce in the rain, you create some of that. You know, all the transporting through the roads from the cars actually creates a rough terrain, etc. So these are what they'd say almost perfect rally conditions for Queensland.
Dean Herridge with the pitch report there.
Yeah,
about to do something the late Tony Gregg would have done. Get the car keys out, check the surface for us. Scott Petter, Glenn McNeil inbound. Now this car, the Skoda, does sound a little bit different this weekend. So he's had a bit of build-up preparation for this too, Scotty, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did a state round in Western Australia just to sort of do a little bit more running, get a little bit more match fit with it. So he's 1.1 off the pace at the moment. We'll go and have a listen to him here.
Scott, you're the third car out there today. Did that give you an advantage?
I don't think on that stage. A little bit of a conservative run, but we're here and, you know, a pretty tricky stage actually, very low grip. So, yeah, see how we go.
So if you went conservative this morning, are there learnings? Are you going to go a bit harder this afternoon?
Look, long rally. Done Queensland a lot and, you know, you just got to be there at the end and you're a chance to get good points and potentially win the rally.
We hope to see you there at the end. Thank you.
That's actually a really interesting point, and a word that you don't often hear Scott Petter say, conservative. He's playing a bit more of a long game. I expected an attack.
Yeah, and I think he's been very strong in the opening round. It's something that he's probably going to work. He's always had the speed, etc. And you know, and for that, I think you'll see Hayden will look at those times and go, "Wow, okay, I'm a second up on those two in there." He'll be surprised by that. But I think both Harry and Scott, that's where their experience is coming in. They knew what this stage was like the first time around last year. You know, caught Harry out.
Yep.
So, like I said, long day, long game here. You know, get to the other stages where we still might be able to get our teeth in a little bit more. And going back to your point with Scott, he has upgrades to that car. That's why it's got a little bit of an exhaust note change. It's had an upgrade in ECU. Skoda bought out some upgrades to that car. All that's been in the car, had a little run in Perth, and now brings it to Queensland.
Lewis Bates is inbound. Just to recap for you, at this point, Hayden Paddon, 4 minutes 7.1. He's presently fastest at the end of stage one there. Harry Bates, 0.6 shy of the Hyundai driver's time. Scott Petter, third, 1.1 off Paddon's effort there. So Lewis Bates, Anthony McLaughlin, second in the Australian Rally Championship points table, coming in 7 behind Hayden. He's had a nice break in the lead up to this too. Bit of downtime in Noosa. They've been incredibly busy at Neil Bates Motorsport, not just with the rally program, but also with the Toyota 86 series. Their next event just a week away in Townsville. So Lewis is here. Let's take you to Jackie.
Lewis, good morning. This rally was unkind to you last year, but how was the stage out there this morning?
Yeah, it's a tricky stage to start on, but we had a clean run. I'm not sure how the time was, but yeah, all happy.
Would being the fourth car have given you advantage? Like, has the line been swept?
It's not so bad in there, the sweeping, but maybe better in the next one.
Thank you.
Wait for the times to update there. Alex Rouleau and Steve Glennie are the next car on the road. He was talking last night at Wheels on Mary about trying some new things, both in terms of the car and driving style this weekend. And when I caught up with him there in the heart of Gimpy, he said, "I've just had a fantastic steak." So he was enjoying the party, got plenty of protein. He's good to go for the day.
Yeah, no times coming through for Lewis in there. I think there'll be a few comms issues. I didn't even hear what he had to say. I lost my own comms there as well. So
he's talking. I mean, everyone at the top 4 cars have reflected much the same thing, just about the bit more slippery style of surface to start the day, and taking a bit of a longer approach to this. That's the one who's really surprised me there is Scott.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it shows from the beginning of this year, Scott's had pace. He's won stages at the end of the day. You know, Lewis didn't win a stage in Perth after his dynamite effort in Canberra. That's why I really want to see his time. I think his first stage time today will dictate how his day will go. And like you said, probably a change of approach from someone like from Scott. So like I said, we didn't get anyone through in there. So we'll look at the times coming through from Scott Petter. So he's 1.1 off, as Rusty said, 0.6 second to Harry and Hayden. He'll be happy being car one on the road to be leading at the moment with a 4:07.1.
Team that are at the stage end here are very, very good. And they're just alluding to the fact that I think we have a slight delay here at present. So I'm not exactly sure why that is. So we'll endeavour to update you as we go here. Don't forget rally.com.au is where you go for all of your information. In particular, go to the Subaru Results Hub so you can head there. All of the timing that we're often referring to, we're on it at the moment, and a few things to within the overall scheme of things. We've heard from the leading competitors, if you will, in the championship. Wolf Production Cup this weekend is going to be electric. Bodie Reading, we're hoping to talk to this morning before we wrap up our coverage. He's a two-time champion in that class, but it's his first event of the year, so he rejoins what has already been a pretty electric. Yeah. I mean, we've had different winners. And lots of different stories coming out of that class.
And the thing about all of our classes and categories, the top 4 rounds count. So he's missed the first 2, some expensive ones for him to do. So he now has to bank and make sure these next 4 that he does do all count. So that's the way all the cups and categories do work.
I think we're going to take a break here in terms of our live stream coverage. Hopefully we'll get things back on track very shortly for you. But there is a bit of a pause here at the moment. We're not exactly sure why. As soon as we get some details, we will be back live with you here at the end of Stage 1, Accent Benchtops Rally Queensland. We're back on the live stream here at the end of Stage 1 now. We understand that it may be a comms-related issue, not exactly sure what that is. They have very good systems in rallying, don't they, around Rally Safe and so on, but we just need to ensure that collectively it's all working tight for the safety of our competitors and the volunteers.
There's been interruptions to that. There's now actually another car on the stage, so we've got gaps starting to appear. This happens in rallying a little bit, so welcome to Rally. We're trying to bring it live. This is how it happens out there. So, we're suspecting there's been a delay in what's happened out there. And like I said, safety's first.
Now, we're going to call it as far as our live stream coverage at the end of Stage 1 is concerned. Don't worry. We have a bit of a leapfrogging thing to do in terms of our coverage, so we can't keep staying here just for now. But we are going to update you as we go throughout the day. Instagram, Facebook, all of the channels. That may be the next of the cars inbound here. So do we want to get a quick interview? Yeah, we're getting the thumbs up from the producer. Let's roll with that.
So to update everyone quickly, we did finally get a result through for Lewis Bates as well. So if we just recap, 407.1 for Hayden Patton, 0.6 to Harry Bates, Scott Petter 1.1, Lewis Bates 4.2 off. Let's see what Alex has got to say.
Alex, there's a bit of dirt in the back wheel there. How tricky was the stage out there?
Yeah, pretty difficult. We had a red flag there for a little while, so I don't know what happened. So a little bit of a delayed start. The car's a little bit cold and stuff, but yeah, okay to start.
Did that impact how you went out there?
Sorry?
Did that have an impact on how you went?
A little bit, but driver's cold as well.
Any learnings to take for the rest of the day then?
Yeah, still getting a bit of the feel for the car. There's things that are better about it this round, and probably some things I just need to adapt a little bit to.
Great, thank you.
So the time's just coming through there for Alex Rouleau and Steve Glennie, and he's seven seconds off Hayden Patton's effort. And what are we talking, 3 or thereabouts off Lewis, isn't he? So the order as it stands right now, Hayden Patton on top from Harry Bates, Scott Petter, Lewis Bates and Alex Rouleau. They are your top 5. We need to continue our reporting and updates for you. We're going to be heading off from this end of stage very shortly. Stay across our social channels during the day. Join us at about 2:15 for Stage 7. We're going to commentate the entire field in the Australian Rally Championship on behalf of Dean, Jackie and all of the team. Look forward to your company then.